All right, so everyone, now that it is officially 2:01, we're gonna go ahead and kick things off, just to keep it time sensitive today. We've got a few more people coming in, but to start things off, we just want to welcome everybody. My name is Steve Allegrezza. I'm the Director of Digital Strategies and Marketing here at IHFRA. I'm being joined by the esteemed Ray Allegrezza, the Executive Director here at IHFRA, along with most of the IHFRA team. And of course, John Pinion has joined us and graced us with his presence as well. Um, Before we introduce our two all-star presenters today, I just wanted to take a moment and personally thank everyone who has went ahead and renewed for 2021 and continued to support IHFRA. I think we can all agree that 2020 proved to be a pretty challenging year personally and professionally. It was no different here at IHFRA, but I just wanted to share that we have been able to grow. We've been able to develop some new features and benefits. We've enhanced our website and our digital presence, and we've just got a lot more to come this year. So we're really pleased with where things are. And with that, I just wanted to turn it over to someone much more handsome and much more wise than I am, to Ray Allegrezza here, just to say a few things before we kick things off.
I love it when he says it exactly like I wrote it. Don't you,
Right.
Jay? That's great. But Steve is right. It's been a challenging year, and our friends across the pond have that saying, may we live in interesting times. Well, all we can say is, gee, thanks so much. I mean, I've never been in this industry a long time. I don't remember a perfect storm where the orders so ridiculously outpaced production. Container costs are through the roof, allocations of raw material, driver shortages, possible sanctions in Vietnam around the bend. But all of those things have one thing in common. We have no control over them. They're going to have to work themselves out. Each of us individually can't change those. So what we can do is look for a leg up wherever we can and control the things we can. And one of the areas where we can get a big leg up is the robust benefit package that IHFRA offers. And thanks to Jay and Rob, who I'm going to hand it over to right now, our robust benefits got even more robust. I think being a journalist, I can't say got robuster. They got more robust. So without further ado, I want to thank Jay and Rob for all their hard work and have them explain all the exciting things that are at our fingertips now. So Jay, take it away. Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you, Ray and Steve. I'm sure most of you know me or have seen my mug, or if you haven't seen my mug, I'm sure you know Emmett and my father, Mike. They're still circling around the globe, or at least the Midwest globe, I should say. When my father was the president of IHFRA, I believe it was in 15, and you guys can confirm that. One of the things that he really wanted to do was focus on benefits available for the reps. And, like the Allegrezas mentioned, 2020 was a difficult time. For me personally, it was a time for me to spend more time at home. And with a 2-year-old, I wanted to spend more time at home. And then I was introduced to Rob Ellis, who will speak here who will speak here soon. And the first comment I made to Rob, and I said this to the Allegrezas, I said this to Bonnie, can I work in the furniture industry? Can I work with reps? This is something they need. And Rob said, we'll make it happen. And so now here we are in January 2021, making it happen. So I'm very excited to be able to work with the Rep Association. It's near and dear to my heart. These are friends. This is family. I'm very excited to be able to be on this call. And with that, I'm going to introduce Rob Ellis with Colonial Life.
Great. Thank you, Jay. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Well, first off, I just want to thank everyone on the call and let everyone know how honored and excited we are to work with IHFRA. Certainly want to thank the senior leadership team and all the work that you have put in and working with us to help develop this program for your members. We're incredibly excited and looking forward to a long partnership to assist the members of the association. I think we've put together a tremendous benefit package enhancement to your current benefits that you already have. And my goal today is to give us a little insight to what those benefits look like, how they function, how they can work for the members, and then talk about next steps for the members being able to call the call center and work through enrollments and things as well. So just a quick background of Colonial Life. We're an 80-plus-year-old company based in Columbia, South Carolina. We work in all states across the country. Jay and I are quarterbacking this out of Omaha with our call center, even though your members are sprinkled really from coast to coast and border to border. We work when we focus exclusively on these voluntary benefits that we're going to talk about. And we work with about 100,000 different employer groups, all the way from three-person companies to 100,000 life companies. So do a lot of work in the area and focus exclusively on the benefits that we're about to talk about. Certainly we'll have time for questions, but if somebody has a question as we go, I have no problem with answering that as we move forward. Because if it's on your mind, chances are it's probably on somebody else's as well. So we can certainly answer some questions as we move through the agenda today. Steve is going to be putting up on screen a copy of the product flyer. I'm going to reference that a bunch, and we'll kind of take a look at that for us. First and foremost, Stephen, if I could ask you to scroll down towards the bottom.
Of course.
In the lower left-hand corner in that white area for folks, first thing I want to talk about is what the Colonial products are not. And they are not health insurance, and they do not change or replace or get in the way of your health insurance in any way. Whether you have your health insurance here with the association or you have it through a spouse or through another source, these benefits are all designed to provide additional cash directly to you, with the exception of the dental plan, who goes to the dental provider, to the dentist. And we'll talk about that. But it's really important for you to know that these plans do not change or replace or get in the way of your health insurance in any way. I kind of tease about health insurance, although it's critically important for all of us to have, but to help illustrate kind of the difference between the health insurance and the difference between the Colonial products. If you look at it this way, your health insurance obviously is designed to pay your doctor and hospital bills, less deductibles and copays and out-of-pocket expenses that we're all responsible for. I kind of tease about it to say what the health insurance is really designed to do is to make sure your doctor's car payment stays current, should you go to he or she for services, because those dollars are paid directly to the doctor or hospital. The Colonial coverages sit over here and are in essence designed to help make sure the member's car payment stays current, because all of our dollars are paid directly to the member. The member uses those dollars any way they need to. Many times it's helping to offset deductibles or copays, but many times it's income replacement for disability. It's out-of-pocket expense replacement. You can use those dollars any way you need to, which is really what the first little bullet or square box there in the lower left-hand corner says. Benefits are paid regardless of any other coverages you might have. It says the convenience of payment through your bank draft. We've actually set up a bank draft process for you when you enroll through the call center. You will actually provide your routing information, your bank account number. Those premiums will be deducted right from your bank account on a monthly basis. And your coverages stay with you literally for the rest of your life with no increase in premium. These are not plans that are going up in cost over time and year over year like we're maybe associate insurance with in general. We do have a special enrollment window this first 60 days. Everybody that enrolls in January and February, their coverages will all become effective on March 1st. And then as we move down the line, we'll have availability for members that are coming onto the plan to enroll on a monthly basis after that. But we've got some initial and unique benefits for this first 60 days that we'll talk about as we move forward. On the left-hand side, just above there, it says contact the call center to enroll. The call center is now open and available for you to call. You'll see the 800 number there, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I will throw in there, since we're having kind of an initial 2-month period of time, if we were over the Christmas holidays, I would say with the exception of holidays, but I don't know that we have any major holidays in January or February. If you call the call center, it's not impossible that you may move into a voicemail situation because of the lines being tied up with the activity on the line. If so, please leave your name, your telephone number, and obviously your organization that you're with, and our call center person. Warren Edgehill is our primary call center person, but we've got 2 other young ladies, Dee Dee and Veronica, that'll be helping as well. You'll see, notice how to enroll. It talks there about having your bank account information, your routing number, along with your dependents' names, dates of birth, and social security numbers. And again, then the call center number is listed above there in that blue box. If we can move to the very top there, one of the things that we talk about is really the whole idea here is to help support you as a self-employed sales professional. Again, IHFRA is partnering with Colonial Life to provide you access to these insurance benefits. That's really important to know, because if you came into our office, if you will, off the street and said, hey, we would like to buy your dental coverage or your disability coverage, etc., it is not available in that format. You have to be a part of an organization like you are with your association. So again, there's pricing advantages to that. There's underwriting advantages to that. And quite frankly, it wouldn't be available on just a straight individual basis. So again, hats off and kudos to the association for bringing these to you. And now we'll kind of move into the benefits themselves. We actually
real
yes.
quick, Rob, you know, one thing that I've learned from Emmett, my father, is to always believe in what you sell. And just to kind of put proof in the pudding, my wife and I are registered for an accident plan, or I guess we submitted the paperwork for an accident plan with Colonial Life, and I'm able to do it because I work with the company. But that just tells, I mean, first off, my wife is an analytical banker, financial mind person. So that gives you an idea of the costing perspective, that this program fits in line with anyone else out there. Also, again, we believe in everything that we do. We're the best in the industry. And I feel like this is, you know, I just wanted to interject that.
Thank you, Jay. And yeah, to that point, just a little background on myself. I've been with Colonial 37 years. So I've been doing this a long time with employers and employees. And actually, some of your current members have even used the Colonial coverages from past employment opportunities as well. So again, there's some great history there as well. One thing that I'll say as I move down through the products, I'm going to give you some overview of how the product works and why you might want to think about that coverage. I'll also give you some sample costing. I will be giving you, in essence, Nebraska rates, although the coverages are very, very similar, both in coverage and in cost, but some states will have some variations. We are approved at a state level, and the state insurance departments actually improve that product design and the premium structure. So again, I might be off a few pennies one way or the other on some of the plans based on what state you're from and you live in. But the first plan that we have available is our dental plan. It is a true full-blown dental coverage. It has kind of 3 areas of coverage, if you will. They call it A services, B services, and C services. An A-class service would be things like your checkups, your annual cleanings, those sorts of things. They are covered at 100% beginning day 1 for you. There are then B services, which is another category, which are going to be things like fillings and extractions and things like that. That is covered from day 1 as well. And then you have Class C services, which are going to be things like dentures and root canals and crowns and bridges. They are considered to be Class C services. They start after 1 year of coverage. So all your cleanings, x-rays, extractions, fillings, things like that are covered immediately. The A-class services are covered at 100%, meaning there is no cost for those. If you go to a network dentist provider, and there are about 400,000 dentists across the country that are in the network. And again, when you enroll, you'll get that kind of information. You're able to actually go out and take a look. If you want to search and see if your dentist is in the network, you can look at that at www.coloniallifedental.com. And you can actually search the network for your dentist or a network dentist provider. We will have an option for folks that say, hey, my dentist is not in the network. Do you have a plan that I can go to my primary dentist who's not in the network? And we do have one. It functions a little differently. Some of the annual maximums are a little different. The plan that I'm going to share with you is a plan that has a $2,000 annual maximum, which is higher than most dental plans. It pays the A services at 100%. It pays the B services at 80%, and it pays the C services at 50% until you reach your annual maximum each year. And that is a per person annual maximum. So if you have family coverage, it covers everybody in the family with their own maximum, if you will. And it's just a great plan from that perspective. The premium for that, for a member only, just the individual, if you will, if I were looking to get coverage just on myself, runs a few cents over $29 per month. If I were buying it for myself and my spouse, which is the exact same plan that I have, it runs a little over $55 per month. If I'm a single parent family and it's myself and children that I'm going to be covering, it runs a little over $69 per month. And for full family coverage, which would be myself, my spouse, and as many kiddos as I have, no limit on the number of children, it's a little over $102 per month. And then we will also have a vision rider available. You can attach a vision rider to it if you need to. That will be an additional cost, but that is available for you as well. And the dental plan is on a guaranteed issue basis, which means when you enroll now, and everybody's coverages will start March 1st again. And those coverages, those A and B services will be available right away for you. And then the C services kick in after a year. The B and C services do have a $50 yearly deductible for you. And your year will go 12 months from the time you enroll. We have another really nice feature on the dental plan where we have a rollover benefit, where your annual maximum can increase each year until your maximum gets to a $3,600 a year annual benefit. So as an example, if I have my first year, let's say I just go in for my cleaning and checkups and everything is good, and I've incurred less than $800 worth of services to the plan, that plan then will give me a $400 credit to my annual maximum. So my maximum will increase from $2,000 to $2,400, and then $2,400 to $2,800, $2,800 to $3,200, and to ultimately a maximum of $3,600 could be achieved over time based on how my services flow each year. And if I have a bad year in the middle and I use more than $800 worth of services, I wouldn't get that rollover credit for that year, but I would in fact retain that the next year or the following year. So it's a really nice way to take your annual maximum from $2,000 all the way up to a maximum of $3,600 per person per year over time. You do have to get one cleaning and at least one checkup per year to be eligible for that additional building benefit, if you will. But that is a really nice feature because most dental plans do not have that available for them. So that would be kind of the dental overview in a quick format. Any questions that I might be able to answer for anyone?
Rob, real quick, say I have a dental plan somewhere else.
Okay.
Can I use both benefits or?
You could, but Ray, I'm not sure that that is the best use of the members' premium money. I don't know that it would be necessary for a person to own two. Um, they might want to take a look at benefit maximums and benefits available on each plan and make a decision. To me, that's probably a more effective way of the use of their dollars towards that. Conceivably, you could, but since you're paying the dentist, you don't really want to pay the dentist twice, if you will. So you've got some coordination of coverages going on and things like that. So may not be the best use of the members' premium dollars to own two, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good point. I was just thinking if you were halfway down the path with an existing plan and you took this one on, I see your point though. Good, thank you.
Rob, quick
Yes.
question. Is there any age limitation? Meaning, when you get to a certain age, you can't be on the plans or anything like that?
Great question. For the most part, no. Most of our plans you're able to take all the way through and post-retirement for you. There would be a couple, I believe that was Mitch that asked that question.
Yes.
There would be a couple of plans like our short-term disability, as an example, terminates at age 70. Probably with the assumption that most folks maybe are retiring by that point. I know we're getting a lot of folks that work beyond that, quite frankly. Our plans used to be years ago, they terminated at 65, and then that it got extended to 70, and probably someday might be extended beyond that for you as well. But for the most part, no, Mitch, but there are a couple caveats like that.
I'd love to see a list of those so we know.
Sure. Yep. And when you call the call center, they'll be able to tell you that as well. Primarily, it's the disability plan.
Okay.
Okay. Which brings us to the next topic, which is the disability coverage that I just referred to. We will have a short-term disability plan available for you. In my opinion, it's one of the most important plans for a member to look at because we know your income is probably one of the most important assets that you have. We know as 1099 independent contractors, it's very difficult to get benefits. So again, having this roster through the association is a tremendous benefit for you. But when you work with the benefits call center, you can get up to 60% of your pay covered or $6,500 a month in benefit based on your gross income. So they will ask you approximately your gross income from last year. You can get a plan that lasts for 3 months or 6 months of being out of work. So again, with disability, you can really customize it. You might decide, hey, I don't need the full 60% of my income. Could I ratchet that down a little bit? The answer is yes. So again, the disability is highly customizable. The plan can start after you've been out of work 7 days, after you've been out of work 14 days, after you've been out of work 30 days, as an example. So you have some flexibility again, because everybody's in a little different financial position. You might have members that are just starting their working career and haven't had the opportunity to bank a lot of savings or some reserves, and they need that benefit to kick in right away. You might have other veteran members who have been able to put some dollars away and could start their plan a little later. And as you know, the sooner we turn it on, obviously impacts the cost, and the amount of coverage that you choose would impact the cost as well. That plan covers you for an on or off the job accident, and it also covers you for any kind of an illness. So either you were hurt or you were sick. An illness is going to be things like colds, flus, pneumonias, God forbid, heart attacks, strokes, cancer. COVID would be an example of that as well. And again, you'll have a short elimination period that you will choose. And then the benefit could last up to either 3 or 6 months per incident, which means if I had a bad year and I fast forward this thing to pick a month, April of next year, and I have a medical condition that keeps me out of work for a period of time. I come back to work and I'm in a car accident, and that replicates itself where I'm out of work again. Anytime there's a new situation or incident, the benefits start all over again for and to cover that incident. If we have any female members that are growing their families, maternity is covered under the disability plan as well. The way the maternity benefit works, let's assume that a member has purchases the disability coverage. They do have to deliver 9 months after the effective date. So let's just say they purchase the coverage now, coverage starts March 1st, 9 months or after that, they deliver their baby. If it's a regular delivery, Colonial predetermines they're going to be out of work 6 weeks. They remove that 7 or 14-day waiting period or whatever waiting period the member chose, and we advance pay the remainder of the balance up front, even if the member returns to work sooner. If it's a C-section, we predetermine the member is going to be out of work 8 weeks. We remove that elimination period and we advance pay them that maternity benefit as well. And that's really also important because you'll see in the accident plan, the next plan we're going to go to, there is a spouse disability rider available. So again, if my wife needed a disability benefit and she worked somewhere else where my spouse does not have the access to disability, I can actually get a disability benefit on my spouse's paycheck if he or she were hurt or sick and couldn't come to work, because we know both paychecks are really important to the family. So we have that as available option we're going to talk about here as well. Just to give you a quick example, let's say that I was going to look at a 3-month disability plan. I was going to have it start after 14 days and I was 49 or younger and I wanted an extra $1,000 a month benefit as an example. That plan would run a little over $22 a month. If I wanted an extra an extra $1,500 a month benefit, that would run a little over $33 per month. If I wanted an extra $2,000 benefit, it would run about $45 a month. So you can kind of see as you move up and down the range how the costs adjust. And again, you can determine, do you want a 7-day elimination period, a 14-day elimination period, a 30-day elimination period, and that will impact the costs. If you're 50 or older, as I am, your costs are just a little bit higher to start, but then you lock in that cost and that cost remains stable literally for the rest of the time that you own that coverage. So again, with disability, highly customizable based on what you're looking to do. And again, the call center representatives will help walk and talk and guide you through that based on your needs around that coverage. If one of the things we mentioned in this first 60 days of offering.
Hold on, Rob.
Yes.
Rob. I just saw my screen popped up, so I think there's a question.
Mike, Jay, yeah. On just and
It's
right.
fuzzy.
Can this supplement the plan I have?
I think the question is, they're cutting out pretty
It's
significantly,
fuzzy.
but
Yeah, it's
I
fuzzy
believe
to
the
me.
question is, could this supplement a current plan that I have? And the answer is absolutely. This would be kind of going back to Ray's question, would it make sense to have 2 plans? And with our short-term disability, we're going to pay on top of anybody or anything else that you might have. So yes, it could. We do not reduce our benefit by anything you're receiving from anybody else. Because again, from the disability on down in this roster, all these dollars are coming directly to the member. The member can use that money any way they choose to. So hopefully that answers that question. With the short-term disability, I just wanted to mention this first 60 days, we will need to ask health questions, but if we get at least 10% of the association members to participate in the plan, the health questions will fade away and it becomes guarantee issue for everyone. If for some reason we don't have 10% of the members join the disability plan, then the health questions will just stand on their own and everyone's policy will be evaluated accordingly. But our health questions are very, very reduced, if you will. For a benefit of $4,000 or less in month, we actually only have 2 health questions that we ask. So again, it's very, very what we call simplified underwriting, but some of those can even fade away based on our participation. With short-term disability, there is always a 12-month pre-existing condition clause, and I'll use an example. I have high blood pressure. I take medicine for it currently, which means I'm coming into the plan with a condition that I've doctored for in the last 12 months. And if that happens, and I'll use myself as an example, my high blood pressure would not be covered for the next 12 months, but after that, it would be covered. So again, if somebody were coming in with a pre-existing condition that they've doctored for in the last 12 months, not covered for the first 12 months, but after that, it would be covered. And for maternity, that's 9 months, again, as I mentioned earlier. So just wanted to recognize and mention that as well.
Hey, Rob, It's Mike again. I got one other question, and that is on the actual costs of disability and how much you can get. Being reps, our income varies year to year.
Yes.
So how does that work for determining the amount or level of benefit?
Yeah, that is a great question. We will give you your available benefit based on what you tell us your income is at the time of enrollment. You actually buy a specific benefit. So let's just say you bought a $2,000 a month benefit. Whether your income next year in the future goes up or goes down, you're locked in at a $2,000 a month benefit from us until you determine that you want to adjust it, which would require you to call back in and do what we call a transfer of coverage, where you're reapplying for a larger or lower benefit. Chances are you're probably not going to apply for a lower benefit. But over time, if your income changes, our benefit is stagnant based on, it's locked in based on what you purchased. So if my income changes dramatically down the road, I could call back in and say, hey, I would like to update my disability coverage. And therefore you would go through that same enrollment process with a new application. But you are locked in at that coverage level and that cost literally for the rest of your life once you enroll, assuming you don't change it.
Good.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions on the disability before I move to the accident coverage?
Can you give me an example of some of the screening questions that would be asked? I think you and I had talked about this.
Yep. If we're doing a $4,000 monthly benefit or below, basically there's just a couple of health questions. One is, have you been diagnosed of AIDS or HIV? The other one is, have you missed more than 10 consecutive days of work due to an injury or illness in the last 12 months? So there's kind of a qualifier of, have you been hospitalized or missed more than 10 consecutive days of work in the last 12 months, and an AIDS or HIV question. Above $4,100 a month, up to that $6,500 a month, there's going to be a few more questions. I don't have those memorized for you, Stephen, but there would be a few more questions. They'd ask right on the laptop. It's almost a pass or fail scenario.
Got it.
For you.
Thank you.
And again, if we get more than 10% participation, which is certainly our goal this first 60 days, all those health questions will go away. And for any new members coming in the future, they'll have guarantee issue for their initial enrollment as well. So next plan we have is our accident plan. It is one of our very most popular plans. This is going to sound a little odd, but what we literally do is take every part of a member's body or their family member's body, and we assign a dollar value to it. So if they're injured or hurt, it starts triggering cash benefits. Slips, falls, cuts, burns, broken bones, dislocations, all the way to being hurt so bad you're in the hospital, even through, God forbid, dismemberment or accidental death. Covers you on and off the job 24 hours a day, because we know you're highly mobile in your jobs as well. And it's worldwide coverage. So if for some reason you're traveling outside the US, covered during that as well. Just to give you a quick example, let's say I'm at home and I slip on the ice, which happens in our part of the world frequently at this time, and I twist my ankle and I have to go into the doctor's office to get it looked at. Well, the first thing you have to pay on your medical coverage typically is a deductible or copayment. Well, the first thing that's going to happen with Colonial is we're going to pay you $125 cash benefit just going in to get the injury looked at. If the doctor says, you know what, Rob, we're going to need to x-ray that ankle, well, then the benefit's going to increase. If that ankle were dislocated or fractured, that benefit would increase. If the doctor said, you know what, Rob, it's bad enough, we're going to have to check into the hospital to fix this injury. Let's say I'm in a car accident or something like that. The plan becomes progressive like that. Like if I'm admitted into the hospital for my injury, it's an extra $1,000 when they admit me, plus $250 a day while I'm in there. So the plan grows based on all the treatment and services that one might receive, again, even through dismemberment and accidental death, which we hope never happens. Covers your spouses 24 hours a day, covers the kids 24 hours a day. covers the kids in any of their school events, school sports, club sports, all the way through the collegiate level. So children on all of our plans are covered through age 25 until they turn 26. Whether they're in school, whether they're married or not, does not matter. A plan for a member, if I'm looking at coverage just for myself, runs a little over $21 per month, $21.70 here in Nebraska. Again, each state has a little different variation of that. If I'm looking for full family coverage, it's about twice the single rate, covers everybody in my family, which is myself, my spouse, and again, as many children as I might have. If it's just myself and my spouse, or myself and my children, we have a rate in between there for you. And again, our benefit counselors on the call center will certainly help you with that as well. But just as a quick example, for employee and spouse in Nebraska, it runs a little over $32 a month. For employee and kids, again, regardless of the number of children you have, it's a little over $36 a month. And for full family coverage, it's a little over $47 per month. So again, you can kind of pick and customize what works for your family situation. This is also one that has a spouse disability rider available. It mentions it there in black. Again, if your spouse works somewhere else where he or she doesn't have disability available and you want to get coverage on your spouse's paycheck, you'll be able to do that through your accident plan up to a $2,500 a month benefit based on how much income they earn. Because again, it's a ratio of income earning availability as well. And then you'll notice in black print there, it says wellness benefits included. What that means is we have a $50 benefit that's built into the plan in most states. Again, some states are going to have a variation. Unfortunately, some states don't allow us to offer wellness benefits, which is kind of crazy. You think they would. But in a wellness benefit, what that means is there's 24 different exams, things like PAPs or mammograms for the ladies, PSA tests for the guys of my age, all the way down to a cholesterol check. And it's one of the 24 specific exams. If you have one of those on your annual physical or an exam like that, you file it with Colonial, receive $50 back per year per person covered under the plan that gets one of those exams. And the beauty of that is it's kind of an enticement. We know early detection is really important. So we are going to give you a cash benefit to go in and get your annual physical, which is typically covered by your health plan. And it also helps you pay about 25% of your premium back for the year. By just having that wellness exam. So it's a really nice feature for you as well. Any questions on the accident plan?
Just a quick one for me.
Sure.
So I just wanted to make sure I heard correctly. So I have a rising football star and a rising gymnast who thinks they're going pro one day.
Sure.
If they are hurt in the gym or on the field, this policy could help me cover the cost of their injury.
Absolutely. All the way through the collegiate level again until they turn age 26, Steve.
Okay. And yep. Same thing for them. If I don't know how it works with the kids, but as far as the wellness benefit goes, we take them and get their physical every year, get their, how does that work with children?
Yep. Excellent question. It has to be one of those 24 exams. And I'll use an example. My daughters are older now. They've aged off the plan, but when they got into their late high school years and into their college years, they were getting PAPs each year.
Yeah.
So they qualified for that, but it's got to be one of those 24 exams. Sometimes people ask, well, what about if they have to get like a physical for sports to participate? That is not going to be covered.
Okay.
Because it's things like, again, PAPs, mammograms, PSA tests, cholesterol checks, all your scopes, colonoscopies, all of those kinds of things, kind of from a wellness perspective. There is a chest x-ray benefit available. That's helpful for if somebody has real little ones. Sometimes they get kind of the crud and they might have to go in to have that looked at. Wasn't really in their mind looking at it from a wellness perspective, but it would trigger it. I've also had a few folks that have had a accident that's been significant enough that they wanted to do a chest x-ray to make sure there's no internal injuries. And it actually has triggered that wellness benefit as well, even though that really wasn't their intent. They weren't going in for wellness, but it might trigger it because that is one of the 24 exams.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Next plan we have is a cancer plan. Probably brings up the most questions when I'm working with new members like this, because a natural question for you would be, well, doesn't my health insurance cover cancer? And the answer is absolutely it does. But if you've ever had a friend or family member go through that type of treatment or service, there's just a tremendous amount of out-of-pocket expenses. Some of the statistics we hear from the National Cancer Society is we spent about over $200 billion last year on treatment and services of cancer. And of that raw cost, about 40% were actually doctor, hospital, medication, and surgical costs, therefore covered by one's health plan. About 60% of that cost came out of employees' back pockets because it's things like missing time from work, traveling to specialty treatment centers and having to drive or fly to get there, meals and lodging once you're there. And typically nobody goes by themselves. So family members go along and incur those same kinds of expenses. That's what our plan's designed to help with. There's about 30 plus areas of coverage, things like being in the hospital, radiation or chemotherapy, anti-nausea medicine, nursing benefits, surgical benefits, reconstructive surgical benefits. All of those kinds of things are built into the plan. And as you go through your treatment and services and you touch those different areas, the cash benefit stacks, that cash pushes to the member and their family. They use that money any way they see fit. Also, in most states, there will be a $100 wellness benefit. So you'll see, again, it's listed there for the states that allow us to do that. The beautiful thing about that is twofold. Number one, early detection, again, is important. And it pays you almost 50% of your premium back through that wellness benefit if you're going in for one of those exams each year. And another natural question we get is, well, what if I have the accident plan and I have the cancer plan or one of the other plans that have wellness, and I go in and get an exam, does it trigger my wellness benefit in each of my plans? And the answer is it does, by just having that one singular exam. So it's a really nice thing for you to do that. Again, you can cover yourself and spouse, yourself and kids, full family. As an example, that cost is going to range between about $21 a month on up. We have a couple of different levels of coverage. We have a level 2 and a level 3. Same areas are covered in both levels. It's just level 3 is a little more generous in some of those areas than level 2. You also can build in what they call an initial diagnosis benefit, which is a lump sum cash payment between $3,000 and $10,000. You choose your amount. And that will vary the cost as well, because again, you can kind of customize your cancer plan, level 2, level 3, and how much initial diagnosis do I want if I'm diagnosed of having internal cancer. It's an upfront payment. A lot of times people are using that as seed money to maybe give them some time to go to a specialty facility for a second opinion, those sorts of things. You use that money any way you see fit. But again, it's going to run in the low $20 on up based on which level and how you want to customize that. Any questions there for everyone?
Quick
How
question.
about pre-existing conditions?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. The question was, are pre-existing, if I've had cancer previously, do I qualify for the plan, is really what a lot of folks are asking with that question. And if somebody has had internal cancer in the past, they do have to be 5 years treatment free to be eligible for the plan, because there are a couple of health questions with the cancer plan. If it's skin cancer, which I had back in 2008 here, and I had a pretty good chunk removed on the side of my neck, you can still get the cancer plan. All internal cancers are covered, but my skin cancer wouldn't be covered for 5 years if I were in that first 5-year window. If it's been more than 5 years, no question, for internals or skin cancer, you can get the coverage. Everything is covered immediately. With the cancer plan and with all the wellness benefits, there is a 30-day waiting period, if you will, or activation period. So as an example, if I are enrolling in the cancer plan now, my coverage is going to start March 1st. It actually becomes active and ready to be used on anything that's diagnosed April 1st or beyond. And same with my wellness benefit. There's a kind of a 30-day activation period for those wellness benefits or for the cancer plan. Was there a follow-up question for someone? I heard Ray's question, but I didn't know if there was another.
Mitch preempted me. Same question about pre-existing. You answered
Okay.
it perfectly. Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Next plan we have is what we call our hospital confinement plan. We kind of call it medical bridge sometimes because we're bridging some costs between your medical insurance and your out-of-pocket expenses. The plan has, there's really 3 primary benefits. You choose a $500 or a $1,500 benefit if you're admitted in the hospital for any reason. Again, accident, sickness, or childbirth. There is a 12-month pre-existing condition clause, just like there is with the disability, as I mentioned earlier, 9 months for maternity. It's a great plan for people that may be growing their families over time, because we're assuming mom's going into the hospital at time of delivery. But again, you have to deliver 9 months after the effective date of your coverage for that to apply. It also has a $50 wellness benefit baked into it for the states that allow us to do a wellness benefit. And that coverage, again, depending on your age, if you're 49 or younger, the plan's going to range anywhere from a little over $9 a month to about $20 a month for full family coverage for the $500 level. If you're 50 or older, again, as I am, it's just a little bit more to get started, and then you lock in at that cost. For the $1,500 level, it's going to range anywhere from about a little over $20 a month for a member only to about $45 a month for full family. Again, employee and spouse, or employee and kids. We have a kind of range in between there for you. So that plan can be very helpful for folks, again, trying to really help kind of backfill around. Most of us are having larger and larger deductibles associated with our health plan, and that plan's designed to help backfill a little bit if someone goes into the hospital, because that's typically when you're going to blow through your deductible, is probably, you know, when you arrive at the hospital and walk through the front door. So it's really designed to help backfill a little bit of that deductible responsibility that we all have should we be hospitalized. And then it too has that $50 wellness benefit baked into it for the states that allow us to do that, just like the other ones. Any questions there?
Good.
Okay, next question, or excuse me, next coverage that we have is our critical illness plan. This is one that kind of talks about some of the benefits right in that description there, but it's things that are more kind of cardiac related: heart attack, stroke, bypass surgery, kidney failure, organ transplant, etc. You actually choose a benefit between $5,000 and $50,000 and anywhere in between there. So let's just say I chose a $20,000 benefit and I had a heart attack, or I had a stroke, or one of the other critical events. Colonial, in that example, would literally write me out a check for $20,000 or whatever amount I chose. You actually can ultimately collect up to 3 times your initial face amount. So if you bought a $10,000 plan, you open up a $30,000 window over time. If you bought a $20,000 plan, you open up a $60,000 window over time, which means if I have an additional event over time, it's an opportunity for you to collect that benefit in the future as well, depending on if you have another critical event. Also has a $50 wellness benefit, and that plan's again going to range from about $4 to $5 to $6 a month on up, again based on how much coverage you choose, because you again pick a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, all the way up to $50,000 plan. So that plan can be very helpful. Again, also has that $50 wellness benefit baked into it. And I know I've gotten kind of the warning that we're getting close to time here. So I'm going to move on to the term life coverage and the whole life coverage, which brings us kind of towards the end here. We have 2 flavors of life insurance. We have a term life plan that can be a 10, 20, or 30-year term plan, which means maybe I'm looking for a higher face amount of coverage that maybe has a time obligation tied to it. As an example, when my kids were born, I bought a 20-year term plan, thinking at the end of 20 years, my kids would be gone. Not so much, but my obligation was much lower because they weren't little bitty anymore. Sometimes it's a financial commitment, a mortgage, kids, some other type of financial commitment that might have a time commitment to it. And it's a nice way for you to pick up some coverage to help with that. And again, you can buy it for a 10-year period, 20-year period, 30-year period, lock in your cost for that period of time, and then it renews on an annual basis after that time period expires, should you choose to keep the coverage. The whole life coverage is something that is, in my opinion, very, very important for today's members, because surveys are showing about 70% of us in general no longer have any permanent life insurance at home like our parents and our grandparents used to have. When I was a kid, some of you on the call may be too young to remember this, but those coverages that were sold at home over the kitchen table in the evening. When I was a kid, the Equitable guy came over and my folks had a little whole life policy on myself and my brother, and they had some coverages. In today's environment, that just doesn't happen for us anymore. So this is a way for you to get a permanent cash building life insurance plan that stays the same costs and lasts all the way to age 100, because we hope you don't need your life insurance until way out there into the future, post-retirement, as long as we can push that off. It's a really nice way for you to get some foundational coverage for final expenses, burial, those sorts of things. Also builds cash value. This is a really, really nice feature. We have a guaranteed purchase option available. You'll see that in blue at the bottom. Depending on your age, if you're 50 or younger, you can get up to a $49,000 policy with no health questions asked. If you're between 51 and 60, you can get up to a $29,000 program with no health questions asked. And if you're 61 or above, you can get up to a $14,000 policy. No questions asked. Now you can go beyond those limits with a few health questions, but we actually were able to build in some guarantee issue for folks. So God forbid, let's say somebody had cancer a couple years ago, or a heart condition, or diabetes, or struggle with the height weight ratios. Well, on the open market, it might be extremely difficult for them to get any permanent life coverage because of underwriting. We actually are able to waive that for most of the members for certain policy limits. So tremendous advantage. You can also get coverage on your spouse, kids, or grandchildren. And the life insurance is going to start about $6 a month on up, again, based on how much coverage you might choose. We'll circle back for questions on that, but I just want to point over to the left-hand side of the flyer. Again, you'll see the how to enroll. It explains that, having your bank account number, your routing number available, calling the 800 number, the 888 number, and talking to one of the benefit counselors on the call center. In addition to your premiums, there is a $4 administration fee, per month to pay the administrator to collect your premiums from your bank account and submit them to Colonial, so you're able to get all these coverages at the group costs. It's the only way we can collect premium from that perspective. So just know that there is a $4 administration fee on a monthly basis per member. Regardless of how many policies they have, there's just one fee. So it's not a per policy fee. It's a transactional fee per month to draft your account and move those premiums to Colonial.
And to be fair, with that fee that Rob mentioned, that typically is a $6 or $7 fee that we were able to negotiate down to $4, and that's just a processing fee that we were able to negotiate down because you guys are a member of IHFRA. So we were able to save you guys 33-ish% on that.
Right, exactly. And but again, it will come through your banking account, so you'll need your bank account number and routing number. The call center person will actually send you a link. You'll go into Piedmont Pay, it's called. You'll put in your bank information while you're on the phone with them, and they'll kind of clean up that whole process for you during the enrollment, along with obviously taking your applications accordingly based on coverages you might be interested in. I know we're getting really close on time here, but are there any follow-up questions or questions on the life insurance that we might be able to circle back for you? And we have as much time as you tell us we have, so we're all yours until you tell us we're not. So
I had a quick question on the whole life insurance. Is that type of policy one where essentially you're paying in, and explain to me the cash value behind it?
Yep, great. It pays 4.5% guaranteed interest. So the way whole life insurance works is when you pay your premium each month, the vast majority of it goes to pay for the policy, because God forbid, if you died a day after your effective date, your family member is going to receive your life insurance proceeds. But also a sliver of it goes into your cash value fund, and it grows over time at 4.5% interest. And it's guaranteed. So if we fast forward this thing 10, 20, 30 years from now, and you decide, hey, Colonial, I don't need that coverage anymore, I want to terminate the plan, there's going to be a pool of cash you can pull out of the plan. And what I've seen historically, Steve, is it's pretty much paid for itself. So again, either you're going to have the cash value, or your family is going to have the life proceeds when one passes away. So it's a really nice way. Most importantly, the difficulty with term insurance is only about 2% of it's collected, because the term runs out before somebody passes away. With the whole life insurance, it lasts all the way to age 100. So our goal is for your family to have the benefits when they're needed, or when we reach age 100, which I don't know that anybody in my family's ever gotten there, but if it did, I guess you'd have a rockin' 100th birthday party because you'd have some extra cash to pay for it, because the plan matures or endows at that point and the cash value comes out. So
Very good.
Hey, Rob, a quick question. If somebody wanted to pay their premiums once a year, can they do that, or is it a monthly
it
an option in terms of premium paying?
Yeah, unfortunately, Ray, it's really not. For us to be able to set up the group with Colonial and in essence kind of make it mirror a payroll deduction, even though we're not employees, we're all 1099 contractors. We needed to do it through the bank account kind of, monthly draft, because that's how the policies bill.
That's what I assumed. I just thought I'd check. Good.
Great question. Thank you.
And I guess another silly question, but we have a small percentage of our members are Canadian and outside the US, but this plan predominantly is for our US members, correct?
That's correct. Unfortunately, we're only sanctioned, if you will, or licensed in the 50 U.S. states. If I know you have a few members in Puerto Rico and a few Canadian members, unfortunately, they wouldn't be eligible for the plan unless they were a U.S. resident. When we ask for their address, that is what triggers that the state that their policies are issued from is all driven off their home address.
All right, good. If any of the Canadian members call, I'll say, Rob said, get out, get out.
Yeah, I wish we could help them. Unfortunately, not able to at this time, Ray.
Now, I have to say, I'm just, as you went through it, I was not only impressed on the types of insurance, but the word I used earlier, I guess, how robust and how deep each of those coverages go. I mean, it looks like an incredibly comprehensive and cost-effective plan.
Yeah, it really is. And I always tell members, take a look, because again, you'll be able to add some things over time, but take a look at your top priority or two, or maybe three, knowing that you can fold in some things down the road. Because sometimes we get through a roster like this and a member will say to me, well, shoot, I could use every one of these. Well, in reality, we all could, but you got to balance it with dollars and cents too.
Right.
So, sometimes it may be the dental coverage. Sometimes, to me, disability is really important for members, because their paycheck's one of the most important assets that they have. And without that, things just don't go around real well. Other folks have athletic stars like Stephen has, and, our accident plan is important. So they're all very important for certainly their specific reasons, but you've got to do the best you can with kind of managing that and knowing you could fold in some things over time as well.
Well, again, just on behalf of the association, I know the two of you just didn't tap a wand and then the program materialized. So on behalf of all the members who hopefully will take advantage of this, I really want to thank the both of you for doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Well, again, and thank you to the leadership team at the association, because without your guys' hard work and evaluations and us working together, this is not something typically we're able to bring to associations. So again, kudos to the leadership team, and we're extremely excited to work with you. It's really important that we do all we can to share the word with the members so we can get this kicked off successfully for you. And we're really excited to work with you in the future.
Well, thank you. The good news, I'm pretty sure I saw Stephen hit the record button. So what we will do is we'll make this available so on the website, and we can send it out. So anybody who wanted to be here and missed it will not have to rely on Stephen and I to try to explain as good as you did.
Yeah,
well, and the other thing I think, Ray, to that point is it's really important if folks have some interest or questions, call the call center and let them help you work through those. For us to give you quotes and everything, we do have to put in your name and your address and your date of birth and your social and things, so we can actually, because many of them are very customizable, We have to kind of put you in so we can look at you as an individual in the system. And again, a lot of it's income driven and things like that. So they will need to collect that information, including a social, to be able to give you quotes and things. But allow them to help you through that, because again, that's really what they're there for, is to assist in that way. And if you ever need us again to replicate this or do some version of this with additional question and answer sessions, always available for you too.
Perfect.
We get this brochure sent out, email wise.
Yeah, of course. We've got it. We'll distribute it through email. It's available currently on the website and benefits section, but we'll get you everything you need.
Mitch, great question. Stephen has sent out that what we call the digital postcard, which is a postcard that has the different products listed on it, where you can click, it opens up a video about it. If you click above it in the name banner, it actually brings up some of that information and what we call the wrappers around the coverage, and it tells a story about how the coverage works and why you might want to look at it. And Stephen, I believe, has already sent that out and probably will continue to do some reminders. But that digital postcard has additional information on it beyond the flyer we just looked at too, Mitch.
And so user-friendly, Mitch, even you can do it.
You click a button, the video pops up.
Love it.
It's great. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you guys very much for hosting us. We're very excited to partner with you guys. Someone has a question, right? Terrence?
Yes. Can you hear
Go
me?
ahead. Yep.
My situation is kind of complicated. I'm 70. I'm retired. I'm disabled. I had liver cancer 10 years ago. My wife has her third cancer. I'm cancer free. Then could I get well, I'm on Social Security and a supplemental plan right now. And so I wondered if I can still get the cancer policy, but my wife is still being treated for a third cancer.
Yeah, Terrence, to answer your question, yes, as long as you've been treatment free for at least 5 years or greater, you would be eligible for that. Depending on what state you're in, most states you have to be 74 or younger to apply, and it sounds like you are. And then once you're in and you have the coverage. And down the road, when your wife gets to that 5-year mark or beyond, you could conceivably, fold her into the coverage as well. But yes, you would be eligible from what I'm hearing you describe, Terrence.
One more question. I was tested within the 5 years for stomach cancer, which was negative. So would that disqualify me at this time?
It would not. A benign test does not disqualify you as long as there has not been a malignancy in the last 5 years that you're treating for, and it's been more than 5 years. They will, if you've had cancer previously on the cancer application, we do have to list what it was, when it started, your doctor's name, and when you were treatment free, when your treatment ceased and you went into remission. So you might need to do a little homework to just gather that information prior to calling into the call center, so you have it. But they will need to roster that up. But from what you're telling me, sounds to me like you would be fine to apply and receive
My
coverage.
second question is on the life insurance. I think I would be eligible for the 14,000. I have other policies. So again, I would need no health questions and no health tests.
Yeah. Well, we need to take a look. We've got to take a look at your age on that whole life.
I'm 70 years
Terrence,
old.
just to double check that again, each state's a little different. So there could be some variance there for you, but conceivably, you could be eligible for some of that as well, depending on location and
Now we both have a former dental policy through the original IHFRA plan with an outfit in Texas, which has worked out pretty well. So because I'm disabled and my wife is got her cancer disabilities, I'm losing my train of thought here. because I'm not working and I'm a senior member of IHFRA, I'm still eligible, right?
Yeah, there is a question, Terrence, that says, there is a quote actively at work question, with the idea that you're, kind of an active member. I guess the answer to that would probably be that you are, a little different. Those questions are kind of designed when we're working with a employee through payroll deduction, if you will.
Well, I'm an active member, but I can't and am no longer working.
Okay.
So am I still eligible?
We'll need to double check that for you. I don't want to misguide you here. You may not be if you're quote disabled and unable to work.
That is correct.
Chances are you may not be eligible then, Terrence. I didn't pick that up earlier. I apologize.
Okay, because I've had endless health problems.
Gotcha.
And they're
Unfortunately, you
serious.
may not be eligible because there is a kind of actively at work, gainfully employed kind of type question.
Well, I'm well past that. I was forced with liver cancer to retire in 2014.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like you're doing well. Congratulations. That's great. So,
Okay,
but unfortunately, you may not be eligible, Terrence.
okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right.
Well, unless there are any other questions here, guys, I definitely want to thank Rob and thank you, Jay, for taking the time today to explain everything. These are some pretty exciting benefits, and like Ray said, a very robust package. So we're very excited. I know my young athletes at home will be excited to take advantage of some of these. I know I will be too. Heaven forbid.
Yeah. Let's hope you don't need to, but I hear you, Stephen, because my youngest daughter played all sports and my oldest daughter was pretty good. My youngest daughter was a train wreck. We had broken wrists and ankles and ribs, and it's like, good Lord. So,
well, we wanted to provide the full gamut so people can select if it's, whatever it may be. And so that's what we were able to provide for you guys.
Terrific. Again, time well spent, and thank you both again. And thank everybody who was on the call. And if you've missed it or you want to replay it, Stephen will make sure it's in front of you. And so with that, I wish everybody, I guess, a great day and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
If we need a real live, success story, talk to Bonnie, because she is taking advantage personally, right?
That's right. Bonnie could be our poster person.
Yeah.
Right.
And she really did a phenomenal job in helping get all this set up as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, again, let us
Thank
know
you,
how
Bonnie.
we can assist you, and please take advantage of the call center. That's what they're there for, is to answer questions and help people get through that enrollment process.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye now.
Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Take
All
care.
right.